Whether you're a skeptic or a believer, join me, Rob McConnell, as together we'll investigate the world of the paranormal and the science of parapsychology here on the X-Zone Radio TV show on XZBN and the X-Zone TV channel on Simul TV. Since 1990, the X-Zone Radio TV show has been the place where people dare to believe and dare to be heard. Together, we'll investigate UFOs, aliens, ghosts, Bigfoot, psychic phenomenon, lake monsters, conspiracy theories, government cover-ups, the truth embargo, alien abductions, ESP, haunted locations from around the world, and so much more. With over 28 years of broadcasting and more than 4,500 individual guests, the X-Zone is truly a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality, as evidenced by the credibility, integrity, and professionalism of the guests that we bring to our international audience. If you have seen a UFO, had a close encounter, seen a ghost, Bigfoot, lake monster, or a story that you would like to share or have investigated, contact me, Rob McConnell, by sending me your email to xzone@xzoneradiotv.com, or you can call toll-free 1-800-610-7035, extension 143, and on Skype, X-Zone Radio TV. For more information on the X-Zone Radio TV show with yours truly, Rob McConnell, visit www.xzoneradiotv.com or www.xzonetvchannel.com or simultv.com and xzbn.net. Until next we meet here in the X-Zone from our broadcast center and studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, always remember, X-Zone Nation, keep your eyes to the sky and your heart in the light.
Welcome to the Imagine More Success radio show with Cindy and Thomas. We are so glad that you could join us today. We're going to have a really fun and interesting show today where we're going to be talking about how you can take your business to the next level through some amazing skill sets that you're going to be learning about in the next few segments. Cindy, we're having a really great week. We're celebrating, this Labor Day week, right? I mean,
yeah.
Cindy, what does
Labor Day
mean to you? Yeah, what does that mean to you? Is that a week to rest and relax, or is that a week for you to kind of put in even more work than usual?
Well, I'm kind of a different kind of animal because Labor Day for me is every day because labor is not like work for me.
I think a lot of people don't necessarily say that, but if you have the chance in your life to say that work for you is not labor, then you are very, very fortunate. Count yourself among the lucky. It's one of the things that we recommend here on Imagine More Success radio show is that you try to find that in your life as well. We've got a really fun show coming up today with Lori Young. She is from the website Amazing OBM for Amazing Online Business Management. And she's got some great strategies for you today about how you can take your business to the next level, really by using some leverage. Cindy, I know you've read the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and you realize how important it is to have some sort of leverage in your financial world. It's really important to leverage your time as well, isn't it, when you're trying to build a business and have a life that's really rewarding?
Well, you know what they say, Thomas, time is money. And if you're wasting your time, then you're wasting what money you could have coming in.
That's very true. So we want to go ahead and bring her onto the show. Lori, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me here.
Absolutely. Lori, you have a really wonderful client story that you said you'd like to share with us. We'd love to hear it.
Yes. So like you had mentioned, I'm an online business manager, and our job is to free up the business manager's time by really managing their business, managing their day-to-day operations, their digital marketing, their client care, so that they can focus on generating revenue in their business. So I had a client who came to me, and she was pretty new in the online business world. She had a business that was offline before, but had started a new business that was online. And she came to me, and she was very insecure, lacked a lot of, knowledge about how to run an online business and was just very overwhelmed. So what we did is we had a breakthrough strategy session, which is like a 90-minute call where I just really kind of dig into her business and her business goals to figure out what it is that she's looking for. And she really wanted to just increase her online presence. She was kind of starting from scratch and just needed a plan to get her moving in the right direction. So we put together a social media plan and a complete content marketing plan, and just implemented that for her. And we walked away after 3 months of doing business together, and she just had a lot more confidence. She started to grow her subscriber base. We were building her online Facebook group. So she walked away and just had a lot of momentum and a real solid plan for what she needed to do in terms of her content to start growing her business.
Very cool. Lori, what types of tools do you utilize to make that happen?
So, a lot of different things. I'm a really firm believer in when you're dealing with content marketing that you are posting on a regular basis. Like sometimes I see businesses, they post every once in a while or maybe a couple of times a week. One of the first things that I do is overhaul the plan and say we need to be posting on a daily basis.
Okay, so first you build a content marketing strategy plan first.
Absolutely. We look at, who is the market that you're trying to reach? What is the best platform for you to be on, or best platforms, because not every platform is the right platform for every kind of business. Sometimes new business owners that are kind of new in this, they'll come to me and they'll say, well, I want to be on Twitter and I want to be on LinkedIn and Instagram and Pinterest. And it's like, okay, slow down. It's not good. So we do put together a full content marketing strategy plan that talks about how often you're going to post, what type of content are you going to post. And we build that out. And oftentimes that includes, setting up systems that automate that process, because otherwise it can be very time consuming to post on a daily basis if you're doing everything manually.
So you mean like a company called Hootsuite or one of those auto post companies?
Yes, something like Hootsuite or Buffer. One of my favorites lately is SmarterQ. I like SmarterQ because not only can you post everything, on a schedule, but you can repurpose things. So like a lot of times you put your blogs in there and you can put in variations of the blog or the blurb for the blog, and then schedule it to post, maybe up to 4 or 5 or 6 times, and just keep repurposing it, because that's one of the things that's, I think, hardest when you're building a content plan is having continual content.
I love that, Lori. Blurb for the blog.
Yes.
Kind of like your tagline, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Well, when I first saw your website, I was thinking I wanted to maybe call you Obi-Wan, my online biz manager.
I like that.
Which might be a good tagline for you, because
Right.
It sounds like that's what you do for people.
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely.
Cool. And so for a business because a lot of us do, business to entrepreneur in our businesses. And would you say that maybe Pinterest isn't the best place for those kinds of people to
For business to business?
Correct.
No. Yeah. No, I would not say that Pinterest is the best. I think business to business, the best platform is LinkedIn.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And what about Instagram? Because there's a lot of activity right now, a lot of in print about how it's the new Facebook, and business people should be, because, they're doing videos now and such. What's your take on that?
I would agree that there are a lot of businesses on Instagram, and Instagram is definitely popular, and I would say majority of businesses are on there. Now, I think it's different. I'm not sure so much about corporate, like if your target is corporations, I'm not so sure that Instagram is, the ideal place, but I think for small business owners who are targeting consumers, for sure. And even like, my business, who I target small business owners, definitely I need to be on Instagram, which I am.
Mm-hmm.
But I think corporate would be the only place that is probably, Instagram is probably not the best platform.
Mm-hmm.
I think a part
But
of that
small
really is
business owners, for sure. And, small service-based businesses that are targeting either consumers or other service-based businesses, Instagram is very personal. So the approach on Instagram is very different than, something like LinkedIn. Instagram is really about telling stories and really letting someone into the personal side of you so that they can really get to know you as a person versus just a business.
And when you say telling stories, is that video, or can you do that in the written part on Instagram? Because it's kind of confusing for some of us who...
Oh, definitely both. Video, as you can imagine, is the most popular, like even on LinkedIn, video, because people get to experience you, right? They get to see kind of who you are as an individual. But if you notice on Instagram, it's very visual. And so you see a lot of pictures that are posted, but within those pictures are usually very long stories. It's like, what does this picture represent for me in my life or in my business? And whereas like in Facebook and LinkedIn, like the blurb that you post is, maybe one or two sentences long. In Instagram, it's usually a long story of what that picture means to you, what's going on in that picture. It really takes you deeper, I think, into the person so that you get to know them on a more intimate level.
Now, most business owners aren't really adept at Instagram yet. I know you know that. And how can they get more comfortable with it so that they can know what they need to do when they connect with someone like you and figure out what they need to be doing and thinking? Is there a couple of your favorites that you send people to look at for what business owners should be doing?
Well, I always say, study who you think is your competition. Interestingly, I'm working with a new client right now. She's a crystal healer. And so one of the things that we are doing, or I am doing, is really digging into competition or people that she feels really aligned with and studying their Instagram and looking at what type of content are they posting? What does their feed look like? What are they talking about? What hashtags are they using? Because that's one of the, the ways that you're going to grow your audience is through your hashtags. And just really digging deep into either your competition or people that you feel really aligned with.
And Lori, when we come back, we're going to pick up that thought right there. We're going to talk about finding your competitors as well as the people you're in alignment with in our next segment as we continue on the Imagine More Success radio show.
Sounds good.
How would your life change if you could develop the business and personal skills that you need in order to make more money? Do you want to learn how to achieve your big life goals faster? Then go to findhiddenmoney.com and get the Goal for It online course. The course teaches you how you can set and achieve your biggest goals while completely overcoming the roadblocks to your goals so that you can realize your dreams and imagine more success. Go to findhiddenmoney.com.
Has the fear of public speaking stalled your business or personal life? What would you give to develop and maintain supreme confidence? Have an invaluable private program to always perform at your best. Imagine how you would feel. You can have all that and so much more today with Thomas Hyde's life-changing course called Number One Fear Unleashed. Visit numberonefear.com and be liberated from your fear of public speaking. Memorable dynamic presentations are a not-so-secret weapon in the business world. Do you have a powerful message that must be shared, but you haven't found a way to deliver that message? Do you want to be known as a top public speaker who gets amazing results? Are you ready to create and deliver your powerful message? Thomas Hyde can help you create and deliver your speech to get the results you desire. Visit iconquality.com.
Did you expect your business to flourish, but instead it plateaued or didn't get off the ground yet? Would you like to achieve massive goals and discover new sources of income within your business? When you're ready to experience that type of success with fast results, Cindy Hendricks is the business coach for you. Her work with entrepreneurs and business owners has been life-changing. To get you and your business where you want to be, go to imaginemoresuccess.com.
Welcome back to the Imagine More Success radio show with Cindy and Thomas. In a previous segment, we were talking with Lori Young, who is the owner of Amazing OBM, AmazingOnlineBusinessManagement.com. We were actually talking about how you can formulate a content marketing strategy plan in order to implement a marketing plan for your business. Lori, earlier you were talking about Instagram. You were saying that the first place to begin working in Instagram in your business is to find people who have similar businesses who are creating pages and to draw ideas from them, as well as to then make basically an avatar, right? So that you can begin to identify your kind of best personal client and then begin to build a marketing campaign that would appeal to them.
Absolutely.
Is this very similar to the plan that you utilize, let's say, for Facebook as well?
Yes, absolutely. I think one of the most important things and often overlooked pieces that has to happen first is actually looking at your client avatar and really digging deep into who exactly do you serve and what are their problems that they're experiencing and or what are their desires that they're wanting to achieve. Because if you don't have that information, you don't know how to tailor your content to speak directly to them.
Yes. So when you're doing a client avatar, talk to me a little bit about how deep you go into and how specific you are when you're working with a client.
So, first of all, I ask them to, about their niche, who is their niche. And if I feel that their niche is broad or kind of vague, then we start to dig into that. So to say small business owners, well, that's a huge niche, right? So what kind of small business owners, what are the problems that they are experiencing? What specifically does your service do to solve those problems or to help them achieve their desires? We dig into, like we were talking about earlier, just who's your competition? What do you like about your competition? What do you like about what they're doing? What don't you like about what they're doing? Because that says a lot too, that you want to be doing X, but you don't want to be doing Y. So digging into that, asking about people that they feel really aligned with, and what is it that they like about them, and what is it that they don't like. So there's a lot, I think, that goes into it there, and even market research, I think, is super important. I'm a 2-time business owner, and so this is my second go around in my first business. I wish I had known what I know now about digging into the research and really determining whether or not you have a viable market. Because if you don't have a viable market, it doesn't matter how much you market, you're not going to be able to make money. So you have to know what are the problems, and is your market willing to pay money for those problems, to have those problems resolved.
Do you utilize a kind of a step-by-step formula to creating your content marketing strategy plan? Is it something that's created for the business owner so that they kind of do it step by step, or is it something that's more free flowing?
No, it's pretty structured. I would say, when we are finished and actually have a content marketing strategy plan in place, it's very structured because it takes into consideration their goals, what they're trying to achieve, what platforms we're going to be on, the type of content that we're going to share, and when we're going to share that content. And so when it has to be so structured that we can load it all into a automated platform that can schedule it and that we can follow it in our project management tool to make sure that everything is being carried out on time. And, it's very structured.
I think that's one of the biggest things that business owners encounter when they're a business owner that doesn't necessarily enjoy online, social media, let's say that in general. Social media, right. They don't really enjoy it because it is extraordinarily unstructured. And typically a business owner is someone who is relatively structured. Mm-hmm. And that's a part of their daily identity is to have things structured. So sometimes social media for them, if it's not something that they're completely into, it's because it seems like the Wild West and it seems like a waste of time because, number one, the results are not necessarily immediate, and it surfacially at least has the appearance of being unstructured. But I can see where you could bring in an amazing content marketing strategy plan that would give a business owner something that's extraordinarily structured in place step by step, which would help to change their feelings around social media and embrace it as a powerful marketing tool.
Right. I like what you had said, though, that the results are not always immediate. It's very true. And I think sometimes business owners, they look at the amount of time that it takes to put into something like that and the consistency that it requires. And it becomes overwhelming because they're focused on other things that are more important, which is why it is important to have a team in place that is running this type of thing for you, because content marketing is not going to work unless you are consistent and you have a structured plan in place that you are working day after day after day after day. It does require a lot of patience, and it does require consistency. I mean, I can tell you, though, from experience that I'm just a very structured and consistent person, and I blog every single week. I post social media like every single day, and it pays off. There are certain things that I go through every single day as if it's like I get up and I brush my teeth and I comb my hair. It's the same thing. This is what you have to do.
Lori, most of the people out there struggle with blog topics. I think we'd have a lot more people writing if they could have a list of topics. So what would you recommend for people to find those things to be able to do their blogs?
Oh, wow. That's an interesting, that is definitely I think that comes up with everyone, even myself in blogging. What I do is I look at just inspiration. What is inspiring me? What's going on with my clients at this particular time? What am I learning? I mean, I think that's a really key thing, is to constantly be learning. If you're not engaged in some type of reading a book or taking online courses, related to your field, you are going to run dry. And just paying attention to everything that's going on around you in your life, in your clients' lives, and not being afraid to look at everything that's going on around you as a learning opportunity. And that's how I approach my blog, is like, what is coming up with my clients this particular week? Oh, wow, this would be a great blog topic, because if it's happening with one client, it's more than likely happening with other people.
And so what kind of number would you say? 350 word count, 750 word count? What do you think would be optimum?
Well, they say that the longer blogs are better in terms of like SEO. I typically will write anywhere from 1,000 to 1,500 words.
Wow,
It's a
that is
sizable
a long
blog,
blog.
absolutely.
That's like a That's a chapter.
Yeah, they get they just do better with SEO, the longer blogs.
I can see too. Do you feel like it's really important that when someone does make the commitment to read something like on your website or on your blog, that you do go in depth and you kind of go beyond what, say, like a short 2-minute kind of teaser video might give to them? Is that what kind of determines the length of your blog, and it gets more in depth?
I'm sorry, repeat that question?
So let's say that typically you're making shorter videos, or on Instagram you're making photos with captions or relatively short posts beneath the photos. When you go to write a blog, are you writing them in that length that's longer, say 1,000 to 1,500 words, so that you can kind of do a deep dive on a topic that maybe you've say previewed in a previous, say, post or a...
Yes, and keep in mind, anything that you write, like for a blog, for instance, can be repurposed, right? So you can repurpose that into so many different types of content, from, social media posts to short videos to, audios to a infographic, all of that. But when I'm writing a blog, I also write it in a format because I find, for me, I'm very busy. And so when I'm reading a blog or I'm reading an article of some sort, I want to be able to skim and get the highlights of the blog without having to necessarily read the whole thing, and read the pieces that I want to know. So I always structure my blog so that if it's a how-to type blog, for instance, it's always, a step 1 is X, step 2 is this, step 3 is this, so that you can read the intro and get engaged, with the content. But then you can just skim. Okay, well, step 1 would be this, step 2 would be this, step 3 would be this. Okay, I got it. I've got the good high-level view, and I don't necessarily have to read the whole content if I don't want to.
Well, with that in mind, Lori, when we come back in the next segment, can you kind of go over a little bit and your take on how people don't like to read anymore? Because I can tell you, I have found that to be true so many times. And, I'm a cherry picker and a skimmer. So, I read the whole book in a very short time, but I'm skimming. So, and mine is a time thing like yours. I don't have time to sit down and enjoy the whole book with a glass or a bottle of wine. So.
Fantastic. Lori, when we come back, we're going to have you back on. We're going to be talking about LinkedIn in our next segment. So when you come back and listen, you're going to hear Lori Young tell us more about LinkedIn and how it works in helping you to build your business on the Imagine More Success radio show.
How would your life change if you could develop the business and personal skills that you need in order to make more money? Do you want to learn how to achieve your big life goals faster? Then go to findhiddenmoney.com and get the Goal for It online course. The course teaches you how you can set and achieve your biggest goals while completely overcoming the roadblocks to your goals so that you can realize your dreams and imagine more success. Go to findhiddenmoney.com.
Memorable dynamic presentations are a not-so-secret weapon in the business world. Do you have a powerful message that must be shared, but you haven't found a way to deliver that message? Do you want to be known as a top public speaker who gets amazing results? Are you ready to create and deliver your powerful message? Thomas Hides can help you create and deliver your speech to get the results you desire. Visit iconquality.com.
Did you expect your business to flourish, but instead it plateaued or didn't get off the ground yet? Would you like to achieve massive goals and discover new sources of income within your business? When you're ready to experience that type of success with fast results, Cindy Hendricks is the business coach for you. Her work with entrepreneurs and business owners has been life-changing. To get you and your business where you want to be, go to imaginemoresuccess.com.
Has the fear of public speaking stalled your business or personal life? What would you give to develop and maintain supreme confidence? Have an invaluable private program to always perform at your best. Imagine how you would feel. You can have all that and so much more today with Thomas Hyde's life-changing course called Number One Fear Unleashed. Visit numberonefear.com and be liberated from your fear of public speaking.
Welcome back to the Imagine More Success radio show with Cindy and Thomas. Today we're talking to Lori Young. She's from AmazingOBM.com, which stands for Amazing Online Business Management. She does work which helps you to manage your day-to-day operations and your digital marketing to help create a heart-centered, purpose-driven, growth-oriented business for you. Lori, in the previous segments, we talked about Instagram, we talked about Facebook. We want to talk a little bit about LinkedIn, which is super important for business owners. Tell us a little bit about how LinkedIn operates as a whole and why it's important to the small business owner.
Okay, so LinkedIn is great. I would say LinkedIn is probably one of the areas where I do the most networking. LinkedIn, I think, is great for business owners who are targeting other business owners, but it's a more professional approach to business than, like, let's say, Facebook or Instagram. I look at LinkedIn as a place where it's kind of like you are networking and meeting new people in the business world, but in an online space. So instead of going to a networking meeting where you're meeting a lot of people in person, LinkedIn is kind of the place where you can meet a lot of people in the online space and just begin to, build relationships with them and connect with them, and also learn, I think, more business-related topics as opposed to kind of more personal.
Perfect. Do you find that the content creation for LinkedIn is very specific as well?
Yes, well, I think definitely the approach that you use with LinkedIn, I think, is different. It's more professional. You're going to scroll through, see a lot of more corporate type things. It's posting stuff about, being at business events, and it's just more focused towards business.
And on LinkedIn, do you spend a lot of time writing articles that are, say, helpful for business owners, or articles that are more, say, like catchy or interesting? It's kind of a strategy there.
Well, I use, honestly, for myself anyway, I use my blogs, and I will often take my blogs, and not only do I share them with my network, but I also use the LinkedIn article feature, which I think is really nice because you can just take your blog and enter it as a LinkedIn article, and then you get a lot more reach. I typically will do things that are going to help business owners or inspire business owners or motivate business owners. But I think, in the end, like, we're all people, and we all like to, have different types of content. So it's like, even if it's not business related, I think it's still okay as long as it's inspiring and motivational and in something that someone wants to read about. Because we all have personal interest outside of business. But I do notice that when you scroll the LinkedIn content, that it is a lot more business oriented.
Absolutely. Yeah. Is there a question, or I guess to say, is there a technique or a tool in LinkedIn that you would recommend, say that people don't really know how to utilize or is underutilized, that you think provides tremendous value for the small business owner?
Well, I think the LinkedIn article that I just mentioned, I think, is really important to utilize that because it increases your reach. It goes out to the entire LinkedIn community. So you're not just limited to who might be in your first level connections. I think LinkedIn Sales Navigator, if you want to pay the money for it, can be very helpful in terms of just tracking leads and searching for people that you want to connect with, and then keeping them stored in LinkedIn Sales Navigator as leads so that you can easily start looking at all of the leads that you want to build a deeper relationship with. You can start looking at all of the content that they're sharing, and you can begin to engage with that content, because that's the way to build relationships, is to engage with other people's content, to make comments, to read it, to comment on it, to like it. And when you use LinkedIn Sales Navigator and you save somebody as a lead, someone that you feel like you might want to work with, all of their content shows up in LinkedIn Sales Navigator. So it's easy for you to kind of scroll through there and say, oh, okay, so-and-so has, a new blog post, or, oh, so-and-so just posted a video, and you can start to engage with them.
So Lori, on that, would they have to have the premium, or would they be able to just have that with the basic LinkedIn?
Well, I think that LinkedIn Sales Navigator is considered a premium. I mean, it's more expensive than premium. You're going to pay about $79.99 a month for that. And sometimes it may or may not be worth it, but is something. I think LinkedIn groups can be good as well. One of the things that I do to increase my reach is whenever I post a new blog, I have my VA post my blog in a bunch of different groups that my target market would be hanging out in. And so again, I increase my reach. People start to see my content. I start to engage with new people. And if they're not in my first level connections, oftentimes I will invite them, to be connected to me. I think using LinkedIn for searching too, one of the things that I do, and I learned this technique from Helen Pritchard, who is like a LinkedIn expert, is just to use LinkedIn to search for your ideal client and just send connections to people, connection requests to people. Some people are going to accept your connection. Some people are not. And it's okay. But the last thing you want to do, though, is to immediately start selling somebody on LinkedIn. That's a major no-no.
Tell us a little bit about that. Give us a little advice, because I've seen that happen repeatedly. And I know that a lot of people are really anxious to kind of get their product out there and to make a sale. And they're told to be aggressive by all the gurus on YouTube, and to kind of jump out there. But a lot of times they do jump out a little early. Tell us a little bit about how maybe not jumping out and leading with your sales is actually a great way to ensure that you make sales.
Yes. So first of all, I think that's, I don't know. I just had someone connect with me yesterday, and I accepted the request. Within 1 second, there was like an automated message in my, in-mail selling me. And it was like, okay, I'm just going to ignore this person, because first of all, I don't know this person. So no one wants to do business with somebody that they don't know or trust. So it's kind of like, not to be crude or anything, but it's like jumping into bed with someone when you've just met them. It's like going on a first date with someone and saying, oh, you want to get married? It's like, it doesn't work that way. You really have to build a relationship with them. And that's why having the connection, and you can sometimes just say, hey, thanks for connecting with me. I look forward to, learning more about you. And then let the content that they share or the content that you share be what builds that relationship, what starts to build that trust, what starts to build the level of expertise. And people will reach out. And your LinkedIn headline, oh my gosh, that is so important. That was one thing that I changed that made a world of difference for me, because in that LinkedIn headline, you want people to know exactly what you do, so that if you send a connection request, they can see, oh, okay, this is what this person does. And they can decide if they want to connect with you, or they can decide not to. But immediately they know who you are and what you do.
So give us an example of how someone who's listening today could really hone in on creating a LinkedIn headline, thank you, that is very specific and works really well with their business? Like, how do they do it, and what are some of the common pitfalls?
So how they would do it is to pretty much answer, a couple of questions, who they are. So, like who they are, maybe they're a certified online business manager or whatever, right?
Okay.
Who do they work with?
Okay.
What do they do? And how do they do it?
Do you find that one of the pitfalls to that is that they try to make it too fancy at times, or is it that people oversimplify?
I think most of the time what people do is they just put like a title, like certified online business manager or certified life coach or, financial planner. Instead of saying, because people don't really care like that I'm a certified online business manager. Half the people don't even know what a certified online business manager is. What they want to know is, what can you do for me? And how do you do that?
That makes perfect sense. So definitely you want to be extraordinarily clear. And I think that's the number one thing that you need on LinkedIn and all these social media outlets and all online marketing needs to have clarity. It has to be very direct because the amount of time that you have to capture someone's attention is extraordinarily small. Mm-hmm. So you really have to make sure that it's very succinct, very clear, and people are on message from the moment that they first see your content.
Right. So when we come back, maybe Lori can give us an example of a really good headline.
Absolutely. Stick around.
I think yours should be Obi-Wan.
Absolutely. You want to stick around. We'll be back in just a moment. We're going to hear more from Lori Young, the amazing online business manager, and we're going to come right back with you on the Imagine More Success radio show.
Spark your curiosity. Investigate the mysterious hiding in plain sight. Coincidences are happening all around you. Sing along with them. Dance to them. Smile with them. Listen to the 7 songs on the Connecting with Coincidence CD to get you into their groove. A boy looks for his lost dog and gets lost himself, and they find each other. 2 girls, each in need of a friend, and a balloon travels 140 miles to bring them together. A woman is caught in the throes of romantic coincidences. What should she do? A mother seeks to reunite with her abusive husband, and a random phone call pauses her decision. How does all that happen? The song, The Psychosphere, about our mental atmosphere, will get you there, will give you the feeling of how these mysteries take place. You can purchase the 7 songs at ccwithbb.com.
Little children aren't the only ones afraid of the dark. Millions of soldiers return from war zones with PTSD, anger, frustration, fear, and loneliness, much of which surfaces during the darkness of the night. You have the chance to change the lives of these American heroes. Songs and Stories for Soldiers.us provides free MP3 players for these men and women. With a list of 3 million songs in 16 different styles, 100,000 audiobooks, and 30,000 old-time radio programs, every veteran can find something to soothe and comfort them at no cost. All our players contain an 8-hour audio program designed to help veterans fall asleep. With 1,500 plus vets now participating, it's our goal to deliver 10,000 audio players this year. Go to our website at songsandstoriesforsoldiers.us. Help us help a veteran make it through the night.
Path Home Shamanic Art School proudly presents the Gathering of Shaman 2019 Fall Retreat, Manifestation Samhain. Join me, certified shamanic instructor Gwilda Wiyaka, in the magnificent Colorado Mountains this November 2nd and 3rd for a life-changing event. Participate in unique teachings and ceremonies that'll put the power and magic of shamanic manifestation into your hands. Sit in circle with like-minded individuals, sharing group energy and the power it generates. Classes will be held in a facility next to the beautiful, majestic Arkansas River, further empowering the experience. Space is limited, so reserve your spot today. For more information, visit findyourpathhome.com or email touchin@findyourpathhome.com.
The ability to access the knowledge of the universe is much easier for us to access than we may believe. Brad Johnson, Conscious Matrix Communicator, is one of these unique individuals who is able to access a strong connection to the universal mind. Through his connection, Brad has assisted thousands of clients from all over the world through natural intuitive assistance. The intuitive information received is vast, covering a wide range of subjects. Brad's innate ability includes being able to access one's own universal matrix to help them realize their potential to create a life of profound greatness. One-on-one private sessions with Brad Johnson are available to anyone from around the world. Brad is also a proficiently trained psychic, Akashic Records reader, an online spiritual teacher, founder of his own unique and powerful healing system, Body Regeneration Healing, as well as a professional conscious channeler in communication with his own higher self-consciousness known as Adronis. For more information or to book a service appointment with Brad Johnson, visit his website at www.consciousmatrix.com. That's www.consciousmatrix.com.
Welcome back to the Imagine More Success radio show with Cindy Ann Thomas. In our previous segment, we were talking about LinkedIn with Lori Young. She is the owner of the Amazing OBM company, Amazing Online Business Management at amazingobm.com. Lori, you were giving us some really wonderful strategies and advice about utilizing LinkedIn and some really great tips that I think are extraordinarily valuable. I didn't realize this, but you and Cindy actually met on LinkedIn. So tell us a little bit about that experience.
Yeah, so I believe that I was just, going through LinkedIn one day and connecting with people that I thought might be good people to align myself with on LinkedIn, and just sent a request, and Cindy accepted. I'm not sure, maybe Cindy can, remember why she reached out, but I do know that Cindy reached out to me in my email and said, hey, would you be interested in having, being a guest on our radio show? And so I kind of looked deeper at what you guys were doing, and I was like, absolutely, I think that would be a great fit. So that right there is just like a perfect example of how you can use your connections and start to just build relationships and spread the word about what you do.
Well, and exactly. I have been looking for guests that I think our listeners would have interest in learning about, and maybe even hiring for their businesses. And you know what? So many things are on fire: LinkedIn, Instagram, and people really don't know exactly how to utilize them.
Mm-hmm.
So we're thrilled to have you on today.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Lori, I know that you have a giveaway for the listeners today. Tell us a little bit about that, please.
Yes. So I have a giveaway called Get More Customers. It's a 10-step process for getting more customers through your content marketing plan.
Cool.
And it kind of just outlines a very specific approach that you can take to put together a very solid content marketing plan that will help you get more business.
Cool. And they can get that by going to the website at amazingobm.com/free-resources. Again, that's amazingobm.com/free-resources to get your giveaway, which is 10 must-do steps to get more customers with your online content marketing plan.
Yes.
I got to tell you something. The 10 must-do steps are definitely probably what someone really needs to get started on any of these platforms, because you need that basic format, that basic plan, that basic backbone, right, to get started. And once you're started, what do you find usually happens relatively quickly for people that start down this pathway?
They start gaining traction, number one, and they start to see, because we usually will do metrics that goes along. That's one of the must-do steps is you have to have measurement. You have to measure where's your baseline, what are your goals, and how are you going to achieve them? And then you start measuring, like, okay, how many new subscribers have you received? How many new followers do you have on LinkedIn? How many new Instagram followers do we have? And you start looking at the content too. You start looking at what was popular, what didn't work so well. And it enables you to kind of start tailoring, your content and seeing what people like and what people don't. And I think I think it's exciting when you start seeing movement, right? When you start seeing, wow, this is really working. I'm posting on a regular basis. I'm consistent, and my subscriber base is growing. The number of connections that I have on, different social media platforms is growing. I'm starting to engage more. I'm getting more leads. These leads are converting to customers. That's when it gets really exciting.
Yeah, and that does take time, right? That does take,
yes,
and that's something we mentioned earlier in a previous segment. But yes, that is something which takes time but does pay off. And, having someone like you in the corner is an amazing and invaluable tool to really getting to that next level when it comes to engaging people in the social media realm, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I love the quote that you have, which is, there's no content strategy without measurement strategy. Before embarking on a content initiative, irrespective of medium or platform, it's important to know what you want to achieve. And
Yes.
I think that level of understanding of what you want to achieve when you start out in social media and for your business, that's got to be one of the most important lines. There's the creation, the measurement, but you have to have that goal that you're working for, and it has to be a what type of goal? How would you describe that type of goal?
Well, it has to be measurable, number one. So you need to be able to measure it. You can't just say, well, I want to get more business. Okay,
Yes.
well, what does that look like? I think it needs to be very specific, right? You want X number of leads. I want 10 new leads, a month, or I want 100 new followers on Instagram, or I want, it has to be very specific. It needs to be reasonable, right? Like you can't say, the client that just hired me, she had a social media team that promised her 25,000 subscribers.
Wow.
Within what period of time?
Like a month, like months.
Wow. Okay.
And I right off the bat, I said, I will not promise you that. I know better than that to do that, because that getting 25,000 subscribers, that's hard work and that takes time. And that's not going to happen overnight. So you have to be reasonable too, and understand that, it takes time. You're going to get traction. There's no doubt. Majority of my business comes from my online marketing. So it definitely will happen. And it doesn't take years, but sometimes it may take a few months, but it takes months of being super, super consistent.
Consistency is key, and this is social media is one of those things that Marshall Thurber would refer to as a slow variable. It's one of those things that by putting in a little bit of time in it each and every day or each and every week, that you end up with something that's transformative at the end. It's not something you kind of jump in and do all at once, which is, I think, another kind of sticking point for people that are business owners. They want things that they can jump into and see some real progress with. And this is one part of your day that is something that's going to pay off significantly later down the road with even greater dividends.
Right. And it's also, too, one of those things that, once it starts to work and you start to get busier, you can't let it go. You can't just say, okay, now I have a bunch of new clients. I don't have the time to do this, because eventually your pipeline will dry up. If you're not continually marketing, the pipeline will dry up, and then you have to start all over again. And the last thing you want is, like a dry list, right? Someone that you haven't marketed to in a while. So you want to just be continually doing it, even though you are busy. And that's why there are so many people like myself or social media companies, digital marketing companies that will handle this for you, because it's not really something that a business owner, when they start to get really busy, has the time for.
Gotcha. What do you think is some really wonderful advice that you can give to the listeners today if they're kind of in the place where they've started doing some social media and for their business and they feel like they need to take that next big step? What would you tell them to do?
I think that it kind of depends on what stage of their business they're at. If they're in the earlier stages, I would say one of the most important things is to get a really solid plan in place and to increase the amount that they are posting, to focus on the one or two platforms that are the best for them, and just go from there. If they're in more of a growth mode, they need to let go of that, and they need to hire someone to take care of all of that for them.
I think that's great advice.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes,
we
so
need people to take care of things for us as business owners, that's for sure.
Oh, yes. Yes, because you can talk all you want about, this is the plan you want to do. You have to do this. You have to do that. You make sure you're doing this. Make sure you're doing that. That's great. The implementation piece has to happen.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So,
Lori, so if you want to find Lori Young, you definitely want to go to her website, amazingobm.com, where you can learn more about creating your content marketing strategy plan. You can also learn how to get more engagement on all the social media platforms that are important to you and your business, and also learn how to create the content from someone who's an expert who can help you not just create content that's good, but create content that's great. So, Lori, thank you so much for joining us today. We really loved having you on. And we look forward to hearing more from you in the future. And again, we want to invite you to check out her website, amazingobm.com. And if you want to learn more about the Imagine More Success radio show, go to imaginemoresuccess.net, where you can listen to past episodes. And you can also put in a question that you'd like for any of our future guests, because we have some really wonderful guests who are coming up every single week. And when you put your question there, we'll be glad to ask them on your behalf so we can get an answer that is important to you, to a question that's valuable to you. And if you would like to learn how to increase the productivity of your own business, there is a series of courses at findhiddenmoney.com where you can learn about the Goal For It series of courses, which will help you to gain the skills and the tools that you need in order to achieve the goals for yourself and your business. For Cindy and Thomas and the Imagine More Success radio show, we want to invite you to have a wonderful week, and we want to remind you how important it is to realize your dreams and to imagine more success.
Did you expect your business to flourish, but instead it plateaued or didn't get off the ground yet? Would you like to achieve massive goals and discover new sources of income within your business? When you're ready to experience that type of success with fast results, Cindy Hendricks is the business coach for you. Her work with entrepreneurs and business owners has been life-changing. To get you and your business where you want to be, go to imaginemoresuccess.com. How would your life change if you could develop the business and personal skills that you need in order to make more money? Do you want to learn how to achieve your big life goals faster? Then go to findhiddenmoney.com and get the Goal For It online course. The course teaches you how you can set and achieve your biggest goals while completely overcoming the roadblocks to your goals so that you can realize your dreams and imagine more success. Go to findhiddenmoney.com.
Has the fear of public speaking stalled your business or personal life? What would you give to develop and maintain supreme confidence? Have an invaluable private program to always perform at your best. Imagine how you would feel. You can have all that and so much more today with Thomas Hyde's life-changing course called Number One Fear Unleashed. Visit numberonefear.com and be liberated from your fear of public speaking. Memorable dynamic presentations are a not-so-secret weapon in the business world. Do you have a powerful message that must be shared, but you haven't found a way to deliver that message? Do you want to be known as a top public speaker who gets amazing results? Are you ready to create and deliver your powerful message? Thomas Hyde can help you create and deliver your speech to get the results you desire. Visit iconquality.com.